Why will Tesla take over in the future as soon as tariffs are imposed, completely imposed? Because Teslas have gigafactories in the US. So that means that they make them, assemble them, build them, everything in the US. And we have currently five in the US and one in Canada. There's also one in Germany and two in China. So that means that other manufacturers have to pay extra to import their parts to build their vehicles. A lot of the vehicles that are said that say that they're made in the US are mostly imported. Their parts are imported from several different countries that will be tariffed very soon. So according to the purple number right there you see is how many countries that manufacturer has to import, different countries other than the US. So they have to bring them to the US and then assemble them in the US, and then there's your car. Toyota has two other countries it has to bring their parts from. Honda has two. Mopar has three, although they're doing pretty terrible in the car market. They're giving huge discounts because they can't sell their vehicles. Subaru has four. And then Subaru would be not tied with Ford. Ford is lower because majority of their parts are in China. So that would be another 20% tax or additional that the consumer will pay. Nobody else is paying for that. The consumer will have to pay for it if they want that part. And then Chevrolet has 14 different countries it imports parts from. I'm not saying every single vehicle has the part imported by 14 different places, but all different types of vehicles, all of them included, the whole brand is 14 different countries. Hyundai is at the very end because of their poor quality, and they're very not reliable. That's why they're so cheap compared to a normal vehicle, and they would be the last one in line. New cars will be more expensive because of the tariffs, and then used cars and current cars repair costs will increase because of the imported parts. Service department will begin to lay off any non-essential personnel, which would be the tax cut managers. Who are the tax cut managers? Currently, if you go to a dealership or repair shop, they have several different managers of the smallest of things, like things that aren't even irrelevant to the job, but they're just tax cuts. Those will be beginning to get cut off because we don't need no tax cuts anymore when there's enough money lost already in the service department. And then soon after that, assuming everything continues, well, they have to lay off any technicians that don't have the experience, don't have the training, or aren't essentially worth having in the repair shop. Don't have a good turnover rate. Technicians who don't know how to diagnose, and guess what? Tesla comes in there to be your little safeguard. Because Tesla takes in essentially all the employees that don't want to or aren't successful in the flat rate industry because they're all hourly. I worked at Tesla, so that's why I can say that. At their service department, without any experience coming from a Ford dealership, after 4 years, I got hired as an S3, which that means that you're basically in the middle of their repair technicians, which is 3 is actually very high. 4 would be more like fully certified, and 5 would be you can diagnose any vehicle. But Teslas are so easy to work on just because of the simplicity of the vehicles. They're put together like a little puzzle piece. Compared to other vehicles, they have way more components, way more things to worry about that can go wrong during the repair procedure, as well as way more modules to control way more different other things. But the reason the other parts would go bad and the reason they had all these additional modules was because of job security. If a module goes bad, that means the customer is coming back and then they have to come and repair the vehicle again for a module and get it programmed. So they essentially messed themselves up. The other brands did with all of their additional modules and everything. And the reason Tesla's winning is because they're charging you the same thing on your repair cost as if the vehicle was under warranty. There's no additional costs like there would be in any other brand. So whatever you're paying is the same flat rate price anywhere in the Tesla repair shop. And they have very good warranty. The reason I left is because as a flat rate technician, it ended up being a pretty major pay cut, cutting essentially $25,000 to $35,000 per year versus me being flat rate in the service department. And what ends up happening, assuming the tariff is going implemented, the other brands might attempt to bring in their other factories to the US. However, you have to pay American workers, which will be way more expensive, and then not as many people will be buying those vehicles. However, Tesla has made it so cheap to have a vehicle. Their brand new vehicle, fully self driving, it was advertised to be sold around the $30,000 price range. Compared to all these other vehicles having the newest of innovations, it is a steal. So essentially, they're just making it easier. The only one that's benefiting out of this, you already know, is Elon Musk because of obvious reasons. And it's not that Tesla vehicles are better to have, not that they're more reliable. It'll just be the cheaper option, and most likely going to end up being on top because of the tariffs that want to be implemented, as well as the companies having to come back to pay American workers a above average pay salary compared to what they were paying other workers. So essentially, all the other brands will eventually end up moving down south where their plants are at, they're based at, and then sell their vehicles there. So if you don't want to go to Tesla or anything, or want to go into a completely new company, Tesla's not hard, but it is a pay cut for flat rate technicians and flat rates that are making dough. You know what I'm talking about. You'll eventually have to move along with that plant. So moving down south or to a different, relocating somewhere closer to there to commute to get the same pay. Or find a completely new industry. And if you're one of those tax cut managers, well, it's time to find a new job because your job is on the line.